Alright, fellow creators, this is going to be the first of possibly many wrap-up videos. We're just going to take a little bit of time to wrap up what was the week in Written Sins. I am Rob Anderson. I am going to try to get you all through this pretty quickly and show you some things that you might not have seen just through the regular ins and outs of the sites. Obviously, this is our site, Written Sins. Quick thing as everyone starts showing up, we're going to talk about what is Written Sins. Written Sins, we are interviews, art of the day, a home for creators, all creators, artists, and writers, and whatever, letterers, editors, anyone who creates a comic book is home here. We help with Kickstarters, name recognition, promotion of comics, networking, ads. So what are we? We are indie comics. So ultimately, we're here to find out how we can help you. So let's go through the things that were this week. We're going to start with the week 3's top 5. Now, every week I get a bunch of readings, and those readings tell me basically what's trending, what are we actually showing, what is getting good hits, good reviews, what's not doing so well, and sometimes, the things that we are being able to promote the most and the reach I can give you. Guys, it also helps me know which groups that I send things to. They're more active than others. So this is the results from week 3. It's not necessarily written in stone. Not everything gets shared to the same things, so it's not really a competition, but this was just what was most viewed. The number 5 thing was WS's 7 Deadly Questions, cause viewed with Harley Quinn. This was a phenomenal cosplayer that we met. We actually got to do an interview with. She's wonderful. It's worth checking out if you haven't read the interview. I think she really did Harley Quinn really well. We did an interview with Jen Alderidge. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if not, Jen. I'm not always great with names, but she definitely got a lot of traction in week 3 of this year. Fetish Babies took over the top 3 spots. One being, can a comic book change the world's perceptions of all things fetish? I personally think it can. It's on Kickstarter right now. That's why it's there, because I do think it can make a difference. We had the Chris Mad t-shirt art package that just took off. It was almost the number 1 story. That's how much people love Chris Mad and the work he does. So that was impressive. And we had the fact that Fetish Babies, my first Kickstarter, was on and live, was the number 1 story. And we've been deliberately going out of our way to try new things with Fetish Babies, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and we're planning to implement that on other people's Kickstarters to kind of try to help them move along with their Kickstarters. So if it works for us, we hope to be able to share it with everyone else. Then today, we just added Steel Wool, the Kickstarter. Now this Kickstarter I think is really cool. It's all ages. This is actually a Kickstarter that's a brand new way of doing it. We mixed Austin Allen Hamblin. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I asked Austin because I saw you were in the group, the videos message board watching right now, so I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But it's also his interview, not just a Kickstarter ad. And we sat down. This was the first time we've ever not only interviewed a person for the second time, but it's also the first time that we've based the questions entirely on the Kickstarter. And I thought it was a really cool idea, and I'd been planning to do it. And Austin asked if I wanted to do it, and it had been something that was on my mind for a while. So I definitely wanted to do it with him because he volunteered. So, I mean, the Kickstarter itself is amazing. I am a backer. I definitely think it's cool. It shows a woman on a football team, and she has superpowers. So she's trying to both go to high school as a female and be on a football team as a female, which can be challenging enough. And then she's also a superhero on the side. So definitely a comic book I can't wait to get involved in reading. Maybe even lucky enough to give a review on down the road. This is the past creations and just the end result of it. Right now that they're 11% funded, which isn't bad considering they only went live a few hours ago. as of this video being put. We have another follow-up. We have our good friend Vix. He's the one who created some The Untold story that we covered a few months ago. He's a great creator. We'll see his interview on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. We have, moving on, Kane, Michael Metlin's. Now, we had done something live a little while ago, and for some reason, it just disappeared off Facebook. I was trying to edit something out, and I am a little bit of pain today. If you notice me like sounding like I'm out of breath, it's just that I'm in a lot of pain today. It's been a bad day for me and my back, so I apologize if I sound weird at any point. It's probably just me trying to breathe through the pain and talk all at the same time. It's a little overcoming, but Michael Metlin's Kane is an amazing comic book, and I actually just got it, and we unboxed it, and I'm going to, see? It actually came from Amazon. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing a live review of the book tomorrow, so I've got to get on reading it after I get off this. So that's Michael Metlin's Kane. We also have another brand new Kickstarter that came out today, Vessels 2. It's the second book in the ongoing series by Dave Cook. Really good books looking like. I mean, I got on it right away. Dave's been around, and I've seen him around. He's a good guy. I definitely think this is one of those Kickstarters that you have to be on, and if you're not on it, you want to check it out. I think, you know, not only is he a great guy to support, because Kickstarter is also about supporting people as much as it is getting a comic book, and he's one of the creators worth supporting. But I think it's a decent and it's a great idea for a comic book, and it's very interesting. So time will tell how that turns out, how long he'll go with it. I asked him how long it'll go. Next time I talk to him, we'll see what happens. Going on to the next thing, we started, and we'll talk about this in a minute, the 7 questions of diversity. That's something we're doing for Martin Luther King. Not Martin Luther King, I'm sorry, for Black History Month. And Martin Luther King's obviously very important, Black History Month. It's actually a hero of mine. I really believe in everything that he said, and I think he's a great man. And I was really excited to have Written Sins reach out, and we're going out of our way to make sure that we're reaching out to creators and asking 7 questions of diversity. And Keith Jones was nice enough to sit down and answer the questions. And I think he has some very powerful answers, and I think that anyone should be able to read this and enjoy what he's said. I think there's a lot of important things and a different point of view, and I know Keithan is one of the better creators out there, so keep that in mind when you're on our site to look this up. It's on our main page now. It should be there till tomorrow, so give it a look. We have Art of the Day that you can own from Autism GoFundMe campaign. This is a campaign that's actually out to help an autistic girl of the age of 14 help other autistic kids in hospitals by building an R2 unit, because there's sort of a connection between autistic people and the R2 unit, kind of like bringing like celebrities to go visit kids in hospitals, that kind of idea, but using an R2 unit that they're calling R4A4. It's for autism, obviously. I'm very excited to be helping out with this project. I really want to make everyone aware of it. I really think it should be funded. Today, he was actually able to get some patches made, and I'm really excited because I ordered 2, one for me and one for my wife. So I can't wait to get them. I think it's a great cause, and I think that if you haven't checked it out, you should at least check it out. It's a great way to make someone's life better, and it doesn't cost a lot. It's on GoFundMe. So that's great. The 7 questions of diversity. Okay, so we were talking about Martin Luther King and how important he is to me personally, and it's Black History Month, and I don't think there's anything more important than really getting different points of view out there. And I think sometimes, especially in the world we live in now with the whole election and everything that's gone on, I think this Black History Month is a little more important than the past ones, because I think we do need to hear voices of everybody, and I think February is a good time to take stock and hear about diversity a little bit more and understand it, because I don't think as a culture we fully understand each other's point of view. So I'm reaching out to a lot of the creators I know and asking their opinions using the 7 questions that we've been doing, but these aren't sinful questions. These are questions based on diversity. I hope at the end of it that we all look at each other in a clearer light, and I think we see things on a different level as creators that some of us might not see, and even if it will be from each other. I'm still reaching out to other creators. I'm trying a broad spectrum of diversity because that's what I want to celebrate this Black History Month. But if anyone has any special art that they want to show, I am more than happy to actually share it for the month. I think it's important, Black History Month, and anything that you want to put on my site, The Written Sins, about Black History Month, you're more than welcome to do. Moving on, we have my review of The Shepherd. Now, this book was absolutely stunning to me. I mean, I loved it cover to cover. It was one of the rare times I actually got to sit down since Shax was born and read a comic. And it was such a wonderful thing that it was this comic, because I really do think this was an amazing comic book. I can't say enough nice things about it. I was amazed at the twist that there is at one point. I won't say anything more about it. We also did a review with the author, not a review, I'm sorry, an interview with the author of this, and that was a great interview in itself too, and you got to check that out too. And we have a picture of him actually cosplaying his own character, which is unusual. So I definitely suggest it. I think that you need to check it out. Like I said, come to the site, put in The Shepherd in the search bar, and if none of you guys are aware, I'll show you right now. If you type anything in here, if you type a creator's name in here, don't be surprised if you find it. I found someone who reached out to me this week and said, hey, I'm on your site and I don't know why. And when I looked it up, I told him, well, you were part of this project, so you became on the site. So our site's literally beginning to catalog the indie comic book scene like no one else has been able to catalog it, because we're just, if you worked on a project, someone brings to our attention, your name goes in the site, you're suddenly part of our site's catalog. So that's interesting. I know that there are certain creators now Googling their name, not Googling, but searching in our actual site to see if they're in it. But back to The Shepherd, awesome book. It's available. Look it up on our site. There are links to where to buy it. I think it's a wonderful book. Go out and get it. Kim Roberts got nominated for her story Beauty. This is a very, very interesting set of awards. I never heard of it until she did it, but there are some, DCs mixed in and all this, and Marvel is. So there were interesting choices. I was very happy that Kim Roberts got nominated because she does really good stuff. She's given me a couple things to read. We actually did a video for something, but the video wound up having a couple points I wanted to reshoot, and I haven't been able to reshoot it. That's on me. But if you don't know who Kim Roberts is, it's time you check her out. She's making great, great stories, and the Beauty story, she actually let me read it, and I thought it was fantastic. Honestly, it was one of those stories I was like, wow, I like that. That's pretty cool. And it's a short story. It's in an anthology. So you know how much it means to actually have a nomination based off of just 5 or 6 pages. I forgot which it was. I think it's 6 pages. I'm sorry if it was 5. But it was a great story. Kim Roberts, someone to look for. Speaking of Kickstarters, I don't know if Yakuza is still going on, but we're going to go down the quick list of everything that's going on. This was given to us by Kelly Bender. His is actually on top. After that, we have Alter Life by Calb. I got to reach out to him and see how he's doing. I know they were doing good. He's got a big goal to reach, so support him. Jupiter Jet, I actually thought, if I'm not mistaken, was actually just on the main page of Kickstarter as one they liked. House of Fear looks amazing by James W. Powell. I'm looking forward to that. Angel and the World Enders, I believe, have reached their goal last I checked. Strange Horror by Gary Scott Beatty. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Really cool. Something to check out. Terminal Pup Anthology looks very interesting. It's definitely something to be part of. A lot of good names attached to that. If you haven't already, get on that one. The Slip is also by Cody B. Stewart. It looks very interesting. It's been all over. I've seen a lot of fellow creators back in that. Closer one. I'm actually going to have to look at that one when I get off here just to check it out. I'm pretty sure I'm behind it. Another great one. Clara's Rings. Carillo's Rings. I'm pronouncing that one wrong. That's a great Kickstarter as well. I mean, all these Kickstarters are good. And remember, you can just give $1 to any one of these. I personally think the Fetish Babies one's really good. And I think that you should pledge as much money as you can afford. But that's because it's my Kickstarter and I'm greedy that way. But kidding around aside, you have all these great ones dealing with the apocalypse. Looks fantastic. I can't wait to read that one. But understand, support is always important, and even if it's $1. If you put $1 in Kickstarter, you make that little number go up, saying, I support this creator. And that's important because that could matter later. It could matter when someone's looking to be going to Amazon, whether they're being looked at by a possible publisher or they're just being looked at by other fans when they see, not only was it a successful Kickstarter, but X amount of people did it. So $1 matters. So if you can afford $1, I ask everyone, just give $1 a week to a Kickstarter that you think is worth it. Something that you would be okay with having your name associated with. Just give them $1. It will matter, I assure you. The Jack Napier experience is a roller coaster of an experience, and it really is. These guys are some amazing cosplayers doing some amazing things. If you haven't seen it and you haven't checked it out, stop by our site. Once again, just use the search button, put in the Jack Napier experience. You'll see some of the things that we've covered for them, and there's a lot more we haven't even gotten around to yet. But we will be bringing more content from them over time. We're up to Josh Dahl finally has his website up that's making better comic books. It's a pretty cool thing that Josh Dahl, those who don't know you, he's Below Zero comics book creator. He does amazing work trying to help everyone out, does some great classes. If you're interested in taking some classes, reach out to him. I think this is a great idea. Anything I can do to help Josh Dahl, I'm always a big fan of doing. One last moment just to say congratulations to George Coleman. Artemak, once again, bad with last names. I'm so sorry, guys. But he was our splash pager of January. I know we're in February, but it's worth just noting and congratulating him. Speaking of splash page, is another reason I have this on it. I actually won this month, and I came in very late in the day because I suddenly realized that this was going to be Black History Month. And I didn't know that at first. So when I threw my name in, I always planned if I did win, I was going to give that win to creators who I think should be showcased in Black History Month, who have done amazing things writing about diversity and bringing different characters to life. And I'm announcing here that one of the first people we will be showcasing will be Victor Dandridge Jr. I think he's amazing. I think what he did with Luke Cage, which we will have right here, we'll get back to that in a minute. Luke Cage, he completely changed Luke Cage and the vibe that they went for with the next Netflix show with what he did in The Samaritan. If you haven't read The Samaritan, read The Samaritan, go back, look at Luke Cage, tell me it's not true. Now, on top of him, we have a lot more people I want to showcase. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. It could be an every 4-day thing. It could be an every 5-day thing. We'll find out. Depends. I'm going to be reaching out to them over the weekend, telling everyone what I want from them to be able to showcase them. We're definitely going to make it interesting. We're going to make it special. And then we'll see how that affects the splash page going forward. But in March, I'm also announcing the winner of it has already been picked. I will announce that a little later, just to make it a surprise. I don't want it to be too much information tonight, but we do have March, so we won't be voting for another splash pager until April, or until the very end of March at least. Now, moving on, we're going to talk once more about the Dollar Initiative. The Dollar Initiative was something that we came up with that, remember, is all about just one single dollar could really make a difference with someone's Kickstarter. I had a friend, fellow creator, who missed his goal, and he told me something that I will never forget. He said if just half the people on my list had just given me $1 each, it was less than half actually, it was like a quarter, because he had something like 3,000 followers. And he said if just a quarter of them had given me $1 each out of the ones who didn't donate anything to me, I would have made my goal. And I remember we talked about it, and I said, did you ever ask? And he said, no, I never thought to. And this is that moment where if we just even ask for $1 and tell people, hey, listen, if you can't afford a comic book, like I know right now, it's a hard time of the year. Some people are struggling. Anyone who's been struggling is like, Rob, I'd like to back your thing. I tell them, listen, if you got $1, spare $1. If you don't, spare a share. We all know sharing is more important than anything. Having someone say, hey, I know that person, I know what they're doing, and I know it's great, is an amazing thing. Please keep that in mind. $1 can make a difference. I wanted to also take a minute talking about making a difference to say thank you to Carlos Villas. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He gave us the last bit of our art for Fetish Babies. It is amazing. People have loved it. I mean, we set a record, and I'm saying it now. January was our busiest month ever since we launched the site. We have never gotten so many hits. We have never gotten so many views. We've never gotten so much feedback. It drew people in. Yeah, Jonas, we were just talking about you a little while ago. When this video is done, you have to go back to the front. We were talking about the project you were on, which you're on Sunday, just as a heads up, with your interview. But as far as Carlos Villas goes, he's just amazing. I look forward to working with him again. I think what he's got for us has brought us awareness and brought us more traffic just by people looking at it. The video we made has been viewed, I think, close to 1,000 times now. And I know we're a challenging topic, and some people have told me they're afraid to back it because that stays on your record, and I get that. Just people talking to me about it and reaching out to me has been wonderful, just being able to talk about it. Some people actually ask what cons I'm going to. I'll be updating that later, but for now, let's move on with the list. I had to give a shout out to Casey Pierce. She's got her Pieces of Madness. It's still on Kickstarter. It's going to come with a slipcase. It's a hardcover. You're not going to find, I personally think that what she's giving it away for, and I mean giving it away for on Kickstarter, is insane. I can't wait to get a copy. Get to Kickstarter. Make sure you're backing this. This is one of those must-haves. Let's talk about the VetCon real quick. This is brought to me by the Veteran's Wife. It's in a partnership with a Comic-Con coming up. Josh Gilliam is very active in this. It's definitely something that, it's real simple. We gotta start backing the veterans. We gotta start taking care of the people who come back from war, and this is the beginning of it. We expect these people to give up their lives and protect us, but when they come home, we don't do enough for them. And anything that Written Sins can do to help the vets, we will be doing. And this is the beginning of a partnership with Josh Gilliam and the Veteran's Wife. Anything that we can do, we will do. Their time is running out. You only have until the 11th to get free tickets, possibly. So check out our site or go to Veteran's Wife on Facebook. Find the details. You don't have to come to our site. Just get on there and figure it out. A way to get involved. A way to help them out. Even if it's just hit and share with someone you know who will be near that con and getting it to have traction. Because we want to help each other. Finally, we have 2 more things. We have the most viewed for week 2. We did week 3. I figured I'd show week 2. 2 as well because it didn't really it got kind of lost in the shuffle at the beginning of the week. This is the R2 unit I was talking about. It was the #1 story for week 2. We had an interview. I wanted to officially welcome Lee Gooden to the Written Sins team. He actually is the one who did the interview with me. That interview, a lot of people, a lot of feedback. Told me it was amazing. It was a little long. It was a little intrusive for my feelings. I like my 7 deadly questions. We'll be continuing with 7 deadly questions. As a matter of fact, the last thing I have to say is that my wife will actually be answering the 7 deadly questions, and I will be answering the same questions the next night. So for the next 2 nights, the co-creators of Fetish Babies will be answering some questions that have been based off of things that people have asked us via the Kickstarter, and we're going to publicly answer them. We're not going to sit around and write them together. This is just what we're doing. I think it'll be interesting. We have a lot of other cool stuff coming. I'm very excited about Black History Month. I'm very thrilled that you guys were able to join me. For those who see it later, if you have a question, feel free. If you want to see something featured on the next episode, We will be going live again next week at 11:11. This will become a weekly wrap-up show. I don't want to hold you too long. We've been on for too long as far as I'm concerned. You all have a great night. If you have any questions, concerns, or you need written sins to promote you or give you name recognition or help you in any way, that's what we're here for. Reach out any day, time, or night. I'll get back to you. Someone on the team will get back to you. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll talk to you soon.